In the previous class, we were discussing about the how to energize a capacitor. So we took help of a cell. So now, if such a capacitors, if they are connected in series, parallel, or some network comes, then what method should be applied to find out the charge in each capacitor? And next about the energy also. So I'll start with first the series one. Okay, this is a cell of EMF capacitor now. So there's a capacitance C1, C2. So now what this a positive charge from here will flow plus Q charge. See, it's all about the you have to trace out the charge. Okay, the charge will come and deposit here plus Q minus Q. Again, the positive charge from here will leave. It will come and deposit here minus Q. So this will be the thing that one. So like this will happen the flow of charge. So whenever you are distributing charge, what are the rules you have to follow? So some certain rules, or better you say convention. Charge of a cell must be conserved. Okay, got this. Charge of a cell must be conserved. And you look at this. This is the and the same circuit. One condition I had to explain. So there's a capacitance C1, C2. Okay, look at this very carefully. Charge of a cell must be conserved. What charge left positive terminal, that much should enter negative terminal. That one. Positive charge Q as the positive charge plus Q left the positive terminal. So that much of charge should enter. See, it's be really very difficult for you, the distribution of charge like. So this is similar to like a branch current method, what you have come across in the resistor. The same thing here also, that one. Later we'll see that we know branch current method little bit difficult. Any alternative for branch current method, even in capacitor, that also will focus here. So that will be in a flexible position. So whatever the type of big question they'll ask, you can manage. Okay, this is about the flow of charge. Charge of a cell must be conserved. Now look at this isolated junction. I'll call this a junction here. So look at these two plates. These two plates, what happen, are not connected to cell, no? So shall I call them as isolated junction? This will be the core part of the capacitor circuits, like how we used to write KCL. No, I'm going to take help of this idea to write the conservation of charge. So charge of this isolated plate must be conserved. So what was the initial charge? The capacitors were uncharged, no? Capacitors are uncharged here. So charge at an isolated junction don't say zero, must be conserved. That's all. Charge at an isolated junction must be conserved. So this is the one thing which exclusively will be using that one. Then after that, what about the like similar to like in KVL what we did? If you take a cell, that one. If I traverse, so what do you mean by traverse? Traverse is like this. Don't show any charge here. Just you say traverse here. So I'm moving from positive to negative terminal. So therefore, this should be fall in EMF. Minus C you're going to write. Similarly, if you move across a cell. What is that green color? Green color arrow is direction of traverse. This will be. So this should be equal to rise in EMF. The same convention of KVL we are going to apply it. Then across capacitor, this charge Q and this is minus Q. So if you traverse like this will be a fall in drop. Minus Q by C. Then so this will be rise in drop. And I'm mixing all the ideas at one place only, series, parallel, loop, equations, everything, so that you can start working on numericals. Plenty of numericals are there. So this should be the convention. Okay, let's write, instead of writing KVL, we call it as loop equation. Say like here, for your convenience, we have changed the position of chapter. Actually, we are supposed to, after capacitors, no? After electrostatics, we are supposed to come to the capacitor. Then from capacitor, conservation of charge we learned. Then there, what are the same conservation of charge principle, we call it as KCL. This what happened. But here, for your convenience, first we started resistor, then I'm coming back to capacitor. So if you can call it as KVL. So we say loop equation. Writing loop equation. When you're writing loop equation, you have to follow the point 3 and 4. When you are distributing charge, you have to follow the points 1 and 2. So these two will help in distribution of charge. These two will help to write loop equation. Okay, now so this is the basic thing. Okay, now we'll write the loop equation. So I'll start the loop. I'll traverse the loop. The green color arrow we use, no? So I'll traverse like this. The green color is what direction of traverse. Okay, write the loop equation. Plus C minus Q by C1 minus Q by C2 equal to 0. Okay, so this should be equal to Q 1 by C2. I want to replace these two with an equivalent capacitance so that the same charge must be there across a same cell. Same amount of charge. Then what is Q is equal to here? From this circuit, Q equal to C into E. Substitute here, E equal to Q by C. So therefore, what is the effective capacitance? 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. So when the two capacitance are in series, the effective capacitance is given by this formula. I'll write it here. Now, okay, further we'll go for potential differences also. What about the drop? V1, V2. Potential divider, how do the potential divider will take the form? So here it should be V1 is equal to Q into Q by C1. What is value of Q from this equation? This should be E C1 C2 looking at this equation, so this should be E C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. So this is equal to E C2 C1 plus C2. Similarly, potential drop V2 is equal to this drop V2 is equal to, this should be equal to Q by charge by capacitance. So 1 by C2 E C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. So this is equal to E C1 by C1 plus C2. Now look at now the ratio of the potential drops across them. This should be equal to V1 by V2 is equal to C2 by C1. So what do you mean by series? I'll just conclude everything. What do you mean by series? If the charge doesn't branches or the charge flow through that particular branch remains same, then all those elements, they're said to be series. So what charge left here? Plus Q minus Q plus Q minus Q. The same charge flows, no? Then these capacitors are said to be in the series. There's a way of identifying that one. If the charge doesn't branches, then that elements connected in that branch must be in series. Then the potential divider formula, you remember, very important for us. Then the effective capacitance. The effective capacitance will be less than the least value what we have. Now, what about the heat generated here? Every problem, think about the heat generated, because rather than doing some separately that one, you can start here. So what do you mean by heat generated in this case? Work done by the cell. What is the work done by the cell? We'll calculate separately. Should be equal to Q into E. What is the value of Q? Value of Q should be equal to E C1 C2 by C1. If you want, I'll write it separately. Into E, no? So this should be equal to C1 C2 E square by C1 plus C2. This much is what? Work done by the cell. And then what about energy stored in the circuit? Energy stored in circuit is equal to U final. Initially, there was no charge. What is UI? UI will be 0. So final energy stored in the circuit. I'll write it here, UF. Initial energy, how much? It was 0. There was no any energy. So this should be equal to how much? Q square by 2C1, Q square by 2C2. Substituting this, so we'll get this UF. So the value of Q we have to substitute here. Then what about the heat generated? What is the basic formula? Again, UI plus work done by cell equal to UF plus heat generated. Initial energy stored in the circuit, 0. Work done by the cell, we know it. So that you substitute here. Then Q square by 2C1 C2. So this will be C1 plus C2, 2C1 C2. Let me write that value. So this is equal to E C1 C2 by, this will be E square C1 C2 by 2. I'll substitute all the values. So C1 C2 E square by C1 plus C2. This will be C1 C2 E square by 2. So what do you mean by H here? H is heat generated, which is equal to C1 C2 E square to C1 plus C2. This is the heat generated in the circuit. They may ask you very simple questions. Tell me, like, where do that heat, where all that heat generate in circuit? Circuit means where that H, sir? Who will take the H? H will be taken by these 3 segments of wire. This wire, and this wire. Getting no? Not like only this wire. What all that heat generated will be taken by this part of wire, this part of wire, and this part of wire. Sir, I will bring superconducting wires. What do you mean by superconducting wires? Where they don't absorb heat. Means when charge flows, that no heat will be generated. Then what should happen to that energy? Only half of the work done will be there in the capacitor. Remaining of what's happened? The remaining half of the energy, what happened, will always search for suitable form. Here, what is the suitable form available? Heat. If you don't permit that to be converted into heat, no, it will try to convert into some other form. some other form what is available here. So if you just allow the plates free to move, it get converted into kinetic energy of plates. It will always search for a possible form. And it may not be always heat generated, because 90% of problems we do heat generated, but it can be any other form. So later when we go for the application part, you can see that I can even show that heat generated will be 0. So time being, let's focus on the heat generated. I can change the system where 0 heat will be generated. Okay, this is about the series, not just like a C equal to C1, C2 by C1 plus C2. This is the formula. You should remember this potential divider. Then this heat generated. Okay, this is about the capacitors in series. The same KVL, or all everything as shown. Isolated junction. Okay, now the capacitors in parallel. Now, like resistors, now you get plenty of circuits to solve. Once you get familiar with the how to get the charge everywhere, no, then you can get into application part. Now the capacitors, they are said to be parallel if I just connect them in this way. C1, C2. Let's go for the flow of charge. The charge Q will flow like this. Now this charge will branch out Q1 minus Q1. Here Q1 charge, Q1 charge. Remaining charge here Q2. Q2 charge plus Q2 minus Q2, and Q2 from here will leave. Q1, Q2 will combine again to give the Q. Like this, the overall flow of charge will occur. Initially, this is a circuit. Without this, the capacitors are uncharged. Let's have this also. Uncharged capacitor. So what is the initial energy? Will be 0. How long this charge distribution takes? It depends upon the resistance of the wires. It will not occur instantly. Time being, we are assuming that it will get charged immediately, but it depends upon the resistance of connecting wires. So it may take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. It all depends upon the resistance, the capacitance of the system, and the resistance of connecting wires. Okay, now whatever the drop, if you look at the drop, they're having a common drop. So when you can say they are parallel, if the potential drop across them becomes equal, or the charge branches, better say that charge branches, and because of that here you can see one more thing, the potentials are same, that one. So then they are said to be in parallel. So here the first equation, I'll write it from conservation of charge. Look at this junction. What charge entered Q? Q charge entered. It will branch out Q1 and Q2. Looking at this circuit, I want to replace this with an equivalent circuit. The equivalent circuit is this one, by only one capacitance, so that what charge left the battery, same charge should enter the negative terminal. So in here, what you can write as Q equal to C into E. So let me write here C. So looking at this circuit, what is Q1? C1 in, and what is the potential drop? Is equal to E, that one. They're parallel here. So Q1 equal to, this will be C1 into E. This will be C2 into E. So therefore, what is C equal to? C1 plus C2. So when the capacitors, they're connected in parallel, then the effective capacitance is given by sum of the capacitance. If there are n branches, are there C1 plus C2 plus C3 and C and so on. Okay, this is about the thing. So let's go for the charge divider formula. Charge divider formula. So what is expression for Q1? What is the expression for the Q1, that one? I want Q1 in terms of Q that. So here I'll write the one equation. Had potentials are equal, no? So can I write Q1 C1 equal to Q2 C2? Further this value of Q1 equal to Q2 C1 C2. This I'll substitute in this equation. Q equal to Q2 C1 C2 by Q2. So what is Q2 equal to? Q C2 by C1 plus C2. Yes. The current will become zero once final steady state after long time. No more current will flow here. We are doing this problem as if we don't know anything current density. So initially current will flow, the capacitor will get charged. Then what will happen? Once they get fully charged, we are doing this problem. So what is all I'm discussing? The capacitors are fully charged here. So I should write here, capacitors are fully charged. As long as the charge across capacitor is increasing, there'll be current flowing. Once they're fully charged, no current. Okay, this is about Q2. So similarly, can we write expression for Q1? As it should be, Q1 is equal to very useful for numericals. I'm telling this one some. These are the things which will help you a lot in numericals. Rather than fighting with any formula concept, no, better take help of these ideas. I'm just focusing on the application part more because there's a theoretical capacitor there in series, C1 plus C2, everything over. The potential divider formula, charge divider formula, these are things which will help you a lot in numericals. So what is the ratio of the charge Q1 by Q2? Should be called C1 by C2.
Capacitors are fully charged, so current will be zero in the circuit, sir.
Yeah, it must be. No more charge will flow further. Okay, this is about when the capacitors are in parallel. Okay, let's go for similarly the it generated concept. I think today if you start working, no, you're having some 3 problems in AC Verma, some around 6 problems are there in the single textbook it generated. But any numerical what happen I can ask you. It's a very arbitrary topic, it generated. You don't say anything standard. I can just take any circuit, I can ask you it generated. So therefore from the beginning is what I'm bringing that idea. So every question, irrespective of contents, do find out it generated. Whether they ask or not, or it generated, you go for it. It'll be very easy for you. And it's a very good topic for advanced. You check it that also, advanced paper. Okay, now we'll go for the ratio of charges. So Q1 by Q2. If the capacitors, if they're connected in parallel, what the ratio of the charges should be? C1, C2. If C1 greater than C2, Q1 will be greater than Q2. The one which is having higher capacitance will store more charges. Okay, this one. So this is very important. There's some many theoretical questions if they ask you, the capacitance which will have the capacitor which will have more capacitance will store more charges. Okay, let's go for the energy in the circuit. Work done by the cell. Before that, I should calculate the charge. So what is the charge? Q should be equal to, so Q should be equal to C into E, which is equal to C1 plus C2 into E. Then work done by the cell. Okay, this is about the work done by the cell. What about energy stored in the capacitor? Energy stored in the capacitor, U1 plus U2. So I directly go for C1 E square by 2 plus C2 E square by 2, because we know information of potential drop. No? So then Ui plus work done by cell equal to UF plus heat generated. So initial energy is 0, work done by cell C1 plus C2 E square this is the heat generated. In advance, rather than expecting something big, no, they may ask you two capacitors, they'll give value connected across cell in series, then they're connected in parallel. Find the ratio of heat generated in the circuit. Tell me like a here C1 plus C2 E square. You see the heat generated. So when they're same capacitors across same cell, if they're connected in series. So what was the heat generated? We do have this much C1 C2 E square by C1 plus C2. So they may trouble you with this small ideas. Huh? The ratio of these two, they may ask you any of the things, or they may give this information, they may ask you some other thing. Is it half of the work done by cell? Yes, no, it is. So two capacitors, they're connected. See, you get many very good theoretical questions, provided if you have background of these basic things. Just series, parallel, formula, if you know, no, you just make observation of in every numerical, try to trace out the energy, what happened to the energy. All the conceptual problems in capacitor circuit are related to the energy concept. So if you can think about the energy, then you can deal very comfortably with the conceptual questions. I am making clear, students, in this chapter you do struggle with the theoretical question. The reason for that, all the theoretical questions are related to energy. So from the beginning you just trace out the energy. From this one, so work done by the cell. You see that one, whether capacitors connected in series, parallel, work done by the cell should be equal to half of the work done by the cell, should be equal to twice the heat generated. Or heat generated, whether capacitors connected in series, parallel, the heat generated will be half of the work done by the cell. You can see in both the cases it came same thing. So here I'll just put the statement, can be asked here. Two capacitors it's not a generalized, only for this situation is what I'm putting. Two capacitors when connected in series or parallel across a cell, heat generated will be half of the work done by cell. And this statement, so suddenly you may encounter this statement. So the background, it's not a theory where you should close eyes and okay, some make a guess. You must have this circuit background. Almost every question critical, don't just imagine. Please do work out. Take one circuit, assume some value C1, C2, and E, analyze it, then conclude the sentences. Not like something theoretical guess. You must take help of the circuit. One example you have to take it, then you have to conclude. This is one method of solving theoretical questions in capacitor chapter. Okay, this is about the series parallel what we had. Okay, now we'll go for the charge distribution problems. So now we have some better idea how to energize a capacitor or how to energize a capacitor. So what I did is I took help of cell series parallel. So can I energize one capacitor by using other charged capacitor? So I will take like this. So there's a one capacitor. There's having a 2 volt capacitance, say 2 farad. Let this be 4 farad. This is a charged, this is uncharged here. Then after closing switch, what will be the charge in both the capacitors? Then how much of ET is generated in the circuit? This is C1, C2. Okay, look at the polarity plus minus. The initial potential is how much? Equal to 2 volts. So first we'll calculate what is that initial charge. So Q naught. So what is Q naught equal to? C1 into 2 volt. C1 is how much? 2 into 2, 4 coulombs. This was the initial charge in this capacitor. I'll close the switch. Then what will be the final charge in both the capacitors? So once after closing switch, what actually happens? A charge, because this is at higher potential, this plate is at higher potential compared to this. Here there's no charge, zero potential, and the positive charge will flow from higher to lower potential. So it will flow like this. How long this flow will occur? Till the potential of both the plates become equal. So we'll give some name for the plates. So let me give A, B, X, Y. So what is the condition arises here? VA greater than Vx, Vy greater than Vb. So because of that, there'll be, once you close the switch, there'll be flow of charges here. Then what will be the final charge in the both the capacitors? So I'll assume plus Q1 minus Q1, Q2 minus Q2. Polarity of a capacitor here, because I given myself, I know which is polarity, which is higher potential or potential. I myself, I give it. Practically, you can identify. Okay, this will be plus Q2 minus Q2. So this is the thing. So how many unknowns are there? Q1, Q2. Okay, let's see what all equations we can write here now. So first, let me write loop equation. Already we know. Rather than saying both are at same potential, let me say loop equation, because this idea will help you a lot. So I'll trace out the loop. Plus Q1 by C1 minus Q2 by C2 equals 0. So I'm tracing the loop like this. I'll move from negative to positive plate. Plus Q1 by C1 minus Q2 by C2, all set equal to 0. So this should be equal to Q1 by C1, Q2 by C2. C1 is how much? 2. Q2 is 4. So Q2 is equal to 2Q1. Okay, there's a one equation, we'll keep it. How many unknowns are there? Q1, Q2. I need one more. So I'll go for charge of isolated junction. You look at these two plates. What was the charge of these two plates? This plate was having charge Q naught and this is 0. This plate was having charge minus Q naught and this is 0. So charge of these two plates must be conserved. So from that, I'll write it here now. So or if you want, you can write J1, J2, anything. I'll write the sentence. Charge of plates A and X must be conserved. So what was the initial charge of this system? Q naught plus 0 is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Q naught value equal to 4. This will be Q1 to Q1. So Q1 equal to how much it will be? 4 by 3 coulombs. So Q2 will be, therefore Q2 will be 8 by 3 coulombs. Okay, this is about the charge in both the capacitors. What about any heat will be generated? Yes, it will be generated. Initial energy. There is no cell, no. But anyway, you stick on to the basic formula. Initial energy in the circuit, Q naught square by 2C1. There's no cell, so work done by cell 0. Final energy in the circuit, Q1 square by 2C1 plus heat. Solve this, there will be heat generated. So why that heat must be generated? Because I'm just taking help of the initial energy in the circuit. What is the initial energy? I'll calculate. Fine. Because of redistribution, heat will be generated. Sir, it must be, it may be. time being, we are going to do all the problems where we feel as if it must be generated. So gradually we'll shift later next week some problems where it may be generated. We'll conclude at the end of the chapter. So what is H? H will be it generated in circuit. Who will take this seat? Yes, it will be by conducting wires. Even the plates are conducting plates, no? Will be taken by the plates of capacitor also. Even these plates also can conduct. Even the plates also can conduct heat. So what about that heat will be taken by the conducting wires and also the plates also. Even the plates also, because plates are made up of conductors. So there also some heat will be generated. Okay, this is about what we did. This was not having any charge, no? The second capacitor, what shall I say, I energized it by what? By using another charge capacitor. So like that, a capacitor, can it energize another uncharged capacitor? Yes, it is. So how to charge a capacitor? By a cell or by another charged capacitor? If a charged capacitor connected to another uncharged capacitor, another charged capacitor with some reverse polarities, this will be Q1, Q2, the potential drop. Now look at the polarity of plates. I do have like this here. So what I did, positive plate connected to negative plate, positive plate, this one. I'll close the switches. We have to calculate the final charge and it generating circuit. Find the charge in, find the charge in each capacitor and it generated after closing the switches. This switch, let me give name S1, S2. Before that, we'll have the values Q1. So initial charge, how much it is? Let it be Q1. Q1 should be equal to C1 into 3, 6 coulombs. What was the initial charge in this capacitor? C2 into 4. C2 is how much? C2 is 4, 4 into 8, 8 coulombs. This was the initial charge. Then finally after closing switch, how to decide which will be at higher potential, which plate will be at positive, negative? Which will be at higher potential, which will be at lower potential. I'm not sure about anything. I'll just blindly proceed. I'll assume that this will be plus Q1 minus Q1. Afterwards, what happens? I'll change the polarity. If I get negative, I'll change polarity. If I get positive, what I assume, right? I'll assume Q1 this plate to be positive and this plate to be negative. Here, this positive, negative. I'll solve the problem. If I get Q1 negative, I'll change polarity. Okay, how many unknowns are there? Two unknowns, two equations we should write. So first writing the loop equation, Q1 by C1 plus Q1 by C1 minus Q2 by C2. The loop equation is like this. All set equal to 0. So Q1, C1 is 2. So Q2 equal to 2Q1.
Yes, correct, sir.
What happened?
C2 is 4F, sir.
This is 4F, no? Yeah. Okay, we got the relation between charges. So let's go for conservation of charge. Sir, which plate you will take it? Either will you take this separate, any plate. So let me take plate. This is A, B, this is a plate X, Y. So plates A and X, I'll take it. What was the initial charge of the plates A? So plus Q1 minus Q2. You look at the polarity, it's a negative, no? So this will be the initial charge, minus Q1 plus Q1. This will be Q2. Q1 minus Q1. So finally, plus Q1 plus Q2. Sir, how can you assume how this was a negative plate? You made it positive. You look for final answers. So Q1 plus, so this will be 6 minus 8, Q1 plus Q2. So Q1 plus Q2 equal to minus 2. So two equations to unknown. Substituting Q2 equal to Q1. So Q1 I'm getting is equal to minus 2 by 3. Solving 192.
Sir, so final polarities will be dependent on the initial polarities.
No, it all depends upon the values. Don't say if, initial polarity is nothing. Just it depends upon the potentials and capacitance. So I got now Q2 equal to, let me substitute Q2 equal to Q1. So I'm getting, so even Q2 also I'm going to get negative. Now what is the conclusion? Just change the polarity of the plate. What we assume them to be positive, no, the polarities will be here different. Okay, this the interpretation of the negative charge is very important here. What do you mean negative charge? Not answer wrong. The polarity of plate, what you assume is opposite to that. Will there be any impact on this? The heat generated? No. The heat generated, how much it should be there? It will be there. So here heat generated, UI, this will be the final potential energy, will be UF. Again, you have to proceed in the same way. I'll write only equation, UI, work done by cell, equal to UF plus H. This will be H is heat generated. Now, sir, whenever there's a redistribution of charge, heat will be generated. 99% of circuits will be heat generated. There are a few circuits where I'll adjust in such a way that no heat generated. So not must be, but 99% of circuits, it will be generated. There are some 1% of circuits I'll design in such a way that no, it will be generated, even though redistribution of charge occurs. So we can't generalize it. So not must be, you have to put again the maybe here. So only this, I think you can conclude such statements after working out numericals. There's no way theoretically you can drill anything here. Okay, here what happened? Both are charged, the polarity is connected in this way. Okay, this is about what happens if one charged capacitor. So many, now we just only want to know. So let me introduce to many capacitors here. If there are, Let this be 2 farad, 3 volt. I'm going to close the switch S1, S2, S3, S4. So this is initially. So only capacitor 3 farad is not having charge. I'll bring a group of capacitors like this. Find the initial charge in all capacitors. The initial charge in all capacitors are as shown. Find the charge in all capacitors and heat generated in circuit when all the switches are closed simultaneously. Here I brought some circuit itself. Few are having charges, few are not having charges. Let's call this capacitor. So we'll call charge Q1 minus Q1. This Q2 minus Q2. Let this be Q3 minus Q3. So initial charges first we'll calculate. Q1 should be equal to 2 into 3, 6 coulombs. Q2 should be equal to 5 into 4 capacitance into C into V. No? So 4 into 5, 20 coulombs. So Q3 is equal to 1 into 2, 2 coulombs. So Q4, 0 into 3, 0. No charge in that. After closing the switch, this will be the 2 farad. How to distribute the charges here? So just I'll assume like this, plus Q1 minus Q1 plus Q2 minus Q2. Here plus Q3 minus Q3 plus Q4 minus Q4. But sir, like you didn't bother like about anything polarities. If I get negative, I'll change the direction. I change the sign of that given plate. Let me assume there's a positive plate. If I get Q2 negative, I'll change the polarity of that. Then how many unknowns are there? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Definitely we need around 4 equations. So first let me go for loop equation. So this should be the loop equation. Q1 by 4 minus Q2 by 2 minus Q4 by 3 minus Q3 by 1 equal to 0. This is one equation. We need few more. So I'll look at this particular plate. Charge of these two plates must be conserved, no? Because you see that they're connected by a wire. This charge of this plate cannot go here. The charge of these two plates must be conserved. So what was the earlier charge of this one? Plus Q1 plus Q2. Now, Symbols we have changed. Huh? I'll change the symbols. This should be 1. Okay, we'll go for at switch S1, at the junction S1. Okay, look at the junction S1. This S1 you look at. So charge of these two plates should be conserved. So from that, write down the equation. At S1, the charge, initial charge is Q1 plus Q2. Final charge, Q1 plus Q2. Okay, this one, here also some change will come. Plus Q2 by 4 minus Q1 by 2. This is at one value. So we know Q1 plus Q2 how much? 26. So this 26 equal to Q1 plus Q2. Similarly, at the switch S2. So what was the charge of the junction? Minus Q2 plus Q3. Minus Q2 plus Q3 should be equal to minus Q minus Q3. And now you can say that, sir, how come this was a positive charge plus Q3? You made negative. I too don't know. I'll solve it. If I get positive, what I assumed is right. If I get negative, then I'll change it. Then similarly, at S3, S3 is this one, no? Here this switch. Minus Q3 plus 0. Minus Q3 plus 0 equal to Q3 minus Q4. Q3 value how much? 2. So minus 2 is equal to minus Q2 plus Q3. Minus Q2 plus Q3. So this should be the 18 minus 18, or plus 18 should be equal to Q2 plus Q3. Last one more. At S4 we'll write it. S4 it was minus Q1 0 minus Q1 plus Q4. Q1 was 6, so this will be minus 6 equal to. So solving all this set of equations will get the required unknown. So how many different charges are there? Those many equations are needed. I think there's a one rule is what you have to follow here. Similar to like a registers here, the challenging for students is distribution of charge. You have to be very careful. Charge of isolated junction must be conserved. Charge of a cell must be conserved. These are just some basic rules which you have to follow it. Solving this will get the required answer. What about heat generated? Again, the same formula. The heat generated will be Ui plus work done by cell equal to UF plus H. Calculate initial and final potential. Check it. Here also heat will be generated. Okay, like this, if capacitors with not, we did only 1, 2 capacitor, no, a group of capacitors, I brought it here. Just see once, I will go for a few more cases. So that writing loop equation, charge of a isolated junction must be conserved, So these are the things which almost in every numerical you're going to come across. Okay, now let me take you to the, what is the charge of a capacitor? I'll give you charge, go back to the Gauss law. We'll go back to some basics of capacitor again. I'll give you charge plus Q and minus Q. These are the plates of capacitor. I've given a charge plus Q minus Q. What will happen to this charge? Where do it will get deposited? So that positive charge will deposit here, and the negative charge will deposit here. This is what happens. So what is the capacitance? So this having the area of cross section of plate C. So how you define capacitance? Epsilon naught A by D. Agree this? So what is the charge of capacitor? Net charge of capacitor is 0. Net charge of 0. That's all, no? What is the charge? Plus Q minus Q. So, but charge of capacitor means what I should say? Charge of capacitor. What should be the, how we should define it? Charge on inner surface of positive plate is defined as charge of a capacitor. Net charge of capacitor will be 0. There's no doubt. But in the formula, when we write V equal to Q by C, what is this Q? The charge on inner surface of positive plate is called as charge of capacitor. I don't write Q minus Q are 0. No, not like that here. In fact, the potential difference is there. So what is Vxy? So Vxy, we are going to write it as Q by C, not Q net by C. So there's a small basic thing. So instead of giving charges, let me give charges of this kind. If you give charge Q1 and Q2, instead of giving equal and opposite, then what I do, I will bring a circuit. There's like a switch. Later on we'll see what all happens here. There's a X, there's a Y. Plate X, plate Y. Now, what charges will be there? So previous problem what happened? The plates are X and Y are given charges Q1 and Q2. So he's asking find the charge of capacitor. Okay, what to do? We know electrostatics. Go back to the Gauss law. So final charge distribution, how it will be? So this is initial. I'll go for one more diagram. It'll be easy for you. What will be the charge distribution on the each surface? Plates, it will have two surfaces. Then I'll close switch in the end after getting the values. These are the terminals. This is X and Y. Okay, come for this. This charge should be Q1 plus Q2 by 2. This is how much? Q1 minus Q2 by 2. And this will be Okay, this will be the charge here. So what is the charge of capacitor? So which plate is a higher or lower potential? Who will tell the electric field between the plates? How the electric field between the plates? We know it will be directed like this. So how do you can see? I think you know from the Gauss law, this is the positive. The charge here will be positive. Here also positive charge will be deposited. Here it will be negative charge. If you check it, and here it will be positive charge. So the net field between the plates will be towards right. And we know the from electrostatics, the electric will be directed from higher to lower potential. So which plate is at higher potential? Vx will be greater than Vy. What is the electric field expression for electric field? Q1 minus Q2 by 2 by A by epsilon naught. This is the charge density, no? Can we calculate potential difference? Yes, it is. Then what is the charge of capacitor? Charge of capacitor is Q1 minus Q2 by 2. The charge on the plate X is positive plate. Plate X what happen will become positive plate. So charge on inner surface of positive plate should be Q1 minus Q2. So what is the charge of capacitor? So charge of capacitor is Q1 minus Q2 by 2. How to calculate potential difference? As we have a formula, E into D. We know value of E, substitute here. You see that I just didn't say theoretically, I have enough proof. Now Q1 minus Q2, this will be epsilon naught A by D. So what is Vxy is equal to now? Charge by capacitance. So F naught A by D will be capacitance of this. So see now, in place of Q, what you got? Q1 minus Q2 by 2. So therefore, the charge of capacitor should be the charge on inner surface of positive plate is what? The charge of capacitor. Got this idea now? So even if you don't give, if you give unequal charges, yes, we can do it. But practically not possible. It's very difficult to construct a system like this, which is possible. This one is possible. How can we give such a charges? Just by connecting capacitor across a cell. Getting the idea now? So that's why in the books what happen, we have maximum problems based on this particular discussion only. This is a electronic engineer will not accept all this, but in books they have brought a problem, they made all, so you may feel very attractive, but electronic engineer will just laugh on it. Who the hell will going to construct such a circuit? That's why if you look at the standard books, no, they didn't bother to discuss all this. You take Resnick, no, he didn't bother because it's a stupidity. To give charges like this is stupidity. That's what they call. That's why the standard books, no, Resnick, they all, most of the electrical engineering books, no, they didn't bother. But you come to our books, no, they made a very nice numerical everything. So definitely will be in somewhere giving wrong idea. This is practically not advisable. It's very difficult. It'll be very costly to give charges like this. See, to give charges like this, we have to invest lot of money. To give equal and opposite charges, plus Q minus Q, very easy. Just go and connect across cell. What is cell? 5 rupees available in market, or Duracell very costly, 20 rupees. Connect that Duracell across capacitors over, no. But something Q1, Q2, yes, it may up to 3, 4, 5,000 it will cost you. Tell me, unnecessary, you are wasting your money, no? Practically not advisable. A teacher like me will make problems like this. what you are seen on screen, no, teachers like us, what happened, to just impress a student, something new problem, no, they just bring. But this is something should not advisable, practically not advisable. Why not advisable? It will be unnecessary, it will make it very costly. See, cost is very important in science and technology. You can't just bring high cost things. What about the heat generated? I'll close the switch. So we'll move to the next part of the problem. Heat generated. After closing switch, how much of heat will be generated? What charge will flow here? Only the charge on inner surface of plates. So after closing switch, so what do we get is this charge will remain as it is. You see now, you definitely so what happened? The field inside the capacitor will be zero. Vxy zero. Vxy zero. What is the electric field inside the capacitor? Was zero. So earlier there was some energy, no, in the capacitor. So what was that energy? Let's calculate that energy in the capacitor. Should be equal to any formula, energy density formula, UD into ED. So we know electric field value. So this should be equal to epsilon naught E square A into D. So this should be epsilon naught AD by 2 Q1 minus Q2 by 2. What was energy, no? So this should be equal to Q1 minus Q2 whole square by 8A epsilon naught D. Okay, this much. This is the energy in the circuit here. So now after closing switch, I'm asking what is the heat generated? What all the energy in the capacitor is what will be heat generated across the resistor. So this what? Energy of capacitor or energy between the plates of capacitor. Energy between the plates of capacitor. And now what will happen to after close all that positive charge? So what actually happens? So now you can question like, so where do this charge gone? So let's go back to this circuit. Which plate is at higher potential? Vx greater. Go back to again electrostatics because the net field between the plates is towards right. So Vx greater than Vy. Okay, then like if you give a path for the flow of charge, the charge will flow from higher to lower potential. So therefore the charge will start flowing like this. How long this flow of charge will occur? As long as there's a potential difference. So all when this charge comes here, finally it will become zero. No, why can't this charge will flow? It's over permanently. It will be there. You can't bring it back. So finally, which charge has flown? Only the charge between the plates has flown to the resistor. So what is the heat generated across the resistor? Heat generated across the resistor R should be equal to H should be equal to U. What happened here? Here there'll be energy, no? There'll be energy. External to plates also there energy. So what will happen to that energy? That energy will be present there only and we can't take it back. So therefore tell me like now, what is the main purpose of capacitor? What is the purpose of capacitor? It's a energy storing element. Why do I use it? To store energy. Like I said, bucket. Why do we use bucket in bathrooms? To store water. And what do you mean by storing like a system? If you give it, it should store it, and whenever you want, it should return back. No, there's the meaning of storing. See, consuming is something, or sink. What is sink? Once you give it, okay, it will not return back. Source as it will supply. What do you mean by store? If you give it, it will store it, and whenever you want, you should take it back. No, so suppose you have a bucket in bathroom, you pour water. And if you are unable to take it back, you should not call storing element bucket. It's a sink you have to call it. So what is a capacitor? It's an energy storing element. And what is the property of storing element? Whenever you want, you can add energy, and whenever you want, you can take it back. So here you look at this one. I added energy, but this energy added, what when a part was there between the plates, a part was lying external to plates. But when I want to get back energy, which energy I got back? I got back only the energy between the plates. This energy what when got wasted. Okay, let's go for this particular thing. And now come for this particular thing. So here I gave energy. What all I did work. So where do that energy go on? It is available between the plates. Now you connect this plate to the external circuit. So here I'll introduce now this plates. If I connect to external circuit, what conditions will arise? Okay, we know there's an electric field between the plates. There's a best conceptual part of the capacitor. Why only you are giving positive negative charge? There's a best discussion. So after closing switch, what happened? After closing switch, the whole energy in the capacitor now is available across the it. So what is H is equal to Q square 2C. The whole energy of the capacitor got converted. So this, if you want. So from where this energy to capacitor came, excitation does work to put charges plus Q minus Q. Then energy is there in capacitor. This whole energy of capacitor between the plates now is available across the resistor. You see, what was the energy of capacitor here? You know enough now. The whole energy is available across resistor. Now tell me, like, where I can get back the energy of the capacitor fully. Means here I did work to put a charge in capacitors. Now the energy is there between the plates. What all I do work is energy there between the plates only. So I'm able to get back the energy between the plates. What about here? I did work to put charges. A part of my mechanical work then is available between the plates and external to plates. If I want to get back, which energy I'm going to get back? Only the energy between plates. Tell me, like, is this efficient? No, it's unnecessary. We lost some energy here, no, which is permanently lost here. So therefore, this way of energizing capacitor is a not economical, practically not advisable. I just wrote one very powerful statement. Practically not advisable. Sir, what is the thing? Unnecessary or lost energy here. External and energy external to plates cannot be utilized for any application. So therefore, this is the wrong way of energizing a capacitor. That one. Only we have to follow this particular thing. So how to give this plus Q minus Q? Just connect across the cell, problem solved. So go this one. So which energy is useful for application? Energy between the plates. So I'll write that a very, so you can say, powerful statement. Energy confined between the plates is useful for application. That's why the role of battery has come into picture. Now, here, let's take some numericals based on this. I'll give a charge 5 coulomb, 2 coulomb. So capacitance of this is 2 farad. This is uncharged. Let this be capacitance 4 farad. What will be the charge on after closing switches? First we'll give charges to capacitor C1, then I'll close the switches. The capacitor C1 are given charges as shown. Find the charge on all surfaces after closing the switch. No. I think first, before going for this, so first we'll distribute the charges. There it was resistor, no? Let me bring capacitor itself. So how the capacitor will behave in this case. Hmm. 5 coulomb. So this should be how much? 5 to 7, 3.5 coulomb here. Then Q1 plus 5, this will be 5 minus 2, 3. So 1.5 coulomb. So here minus 1.5 coulomb, and this will be 3.5 coulomb. So this will be the charge. So this is what happened. Next, after this, I'm going to close the switch. After closing the switch, what will be the charge on all surfaces? Which charge what happened? The capacitor C1 will likes to share with capacitor C2 is what we are trying to analyze. C1 is how much? 2 farad, C2 4 farad. Which charges what happen will be shared by the plate A, B, X, Y. The plate A and X, what charge what charge will be shared by plate A with plate X? Together 5 coulomb or 3.5 coulomb or 1.5 coulomb. Only 1.5 coulomb will be shared. So this will remain as it is. This will be so called, this is Q1, Q2. So here minus Q1 plus Q2 minus Q2. So what should be the conservation of charge? Plate A index 1.5 is equal to 4 plates A index. So this should be 1.5 equal to Q1 plus Q2. Write loop equation. From writing loop equation, or directly you can write it Q1 by C1 equal to Q2 by C2. Solve it. You get the Q1, Q2. What about heat generated? Yes, there'll be heat generated again. You calculate energy. What to do with 3.5? Don't just bring into the consideration. That energy is permanently lying in the external to the capacitor, which is of no use. So either to the resistor or to another capacitor. So this energy will be lost permanently. Energy external to capacitors, we can't get it back. That's what here we are concluding here. So therefore, this way of giving charges is not correct itself. It's not economical, not advisable. Okay, now you can say only this charge what pen will be shared by only 1.5 coulomb. So what is the basic idea here? 1.5 coulomb charge, 1.5 coulomb charge is shared by 1.5 coulomb charge only is shared by capacitor C1 with capacitor C2. A nice conceptual question. Then numerical, no? They may ask you like this: if their plates are given unequal charges, then unequal charges, then and connected to another uncharged capacitor, then the capacitor C1, what charge it will share with that one? Only the charge between the plates will be shared with another capacitor. The charge lying to external to the plates, what the capacitor will not share. This is again good statement. Can be stressed in exams. You have to be very careful. Practically, it will not get disturbed practically, because I'll do one thing. See, just what happen? I'll calculate the energy in the circuit. I can measure it also, and I know here also it will be generated. Here I'll have to also stress on that. UI plus work done by cell, UF plus it generated. What is UI? You should take only the charge, no, 1.5 plus 0 is equal to final charge Q1 square by 2C1, Q2 square by 2C2 plus it generated. So I'll calculate all the things. Finally, what happens? I see that this charge will be there as it is. This charge will not get disturbed. So what will be the comment from him? I will not move. I am permanently settled here. So what is the only thing is by connecting, sir, I'll connect this to cell. Then also when the cell cannot disturb this 3.5. So either you take this capacitor, you connect to the resistor, you connect to the another capacitor, you connect to the cell. This will not get disturbed. Okay, I think you have chemistry class. Any particular specific question, or you just put in WhatsApp? Huh? I will respond it. Huh? Today only you try to finish off. That one, I think you have chemistry class, so I'll stop it here only. Huh?